What's up, guys? Dope Randy here, and yes, I am back doing commentary for the first time in a hot minute. As for the first time this season, I'm doing a voiceover of this race, aka commentary, for the fourth race of the season, in this fourth season, in which is the Ford EcoBoost 400 from my Homestead-Miami Speedway in Miami, Florida. Hope y'all got that. And if you saw the last race, and if you've noticed what I've been doing for the past couple of races, and throughout the past week or so on my channel, you've been seeing my live reactions of these races as they happen in real time, and you've seen me. You'll notice that I'm completely different here than I am in the actual live events. I mean, like, you don't need a rocket scientist to see that, because Martinsville, I'll admit it, that even though I won that race, and I didn't get a chance to see it live when everyone else was around, but I just wanted to say I am thankful, and I'm so happy that I won Martinsville, because short tracks are my bread and butter. They all beautiful, and it's good to see myself finally win at a short track. I figured that would give me the most success in this series. As you see, the qualifying race has started, as I just lose talent and just drive into the fence for no good reason. And you will see a number change. You will see, it's amazing how one small number change can lead to a complicated series of events as we have a crash. But as you'll see here, Hunty, who was in the 95, is in the number 4 now in front of me, my teammate. And that was Marcus's old number. He's now in the 14. And you'll see TGC later in this race, as I just accidentally boot no escape out of the way, like it's Martinsville all over again. But then TG went from the 14 to the 19. So it's amazing how one guy could change 3 numbers in an instant, but that was the case, and that will be the case for the rest of the season. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Martinsville. But I have never been that mad and that livid in a league race before, and it's just thank the lucky heavens that I got the win. And I appreciate the support from that video. But as you can see, we've got 2 laps to go in this qualifying race. And this is the first real good lap I have. I get a smooth turn 1. And then I get a smooth and good turn 3. I'm going to suck up to this little 6-car pack, as we got 1 lap to go in the qualifying race. As that was a 31 flat, which I would take any day of the week. And then I'm just trying to replicate that process, as I'm going to use Cambo in the 51. And I'm going to try just to follow him. I had to get out of the gas just for that second, and then had to tuck it in a little bit coming out, and that's costing me 300s. So my fastest lap was on lap numero quattro with a 31 flat, and so I felt, I mean, I don't know, like that lap I got the 31 flat, I was probably the fastest guy on the track. at least in the top 6, top 7. So I feel like I got a pretty good time. But as we wait for the times to be published and to see where our number 37 Kleenex Chevy's going to start, and you haven't heard me say this in a while, if you like what you see, please hit the thumbs up at the bottom of the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content just like this. I know league season is starting to kick in around the esports community, the NASCAR esports community, and I'm just a dude. So if you want to subscribe. As you can see, and you have, and you think we would be at Talladega, because look, I mean, Sharp got the pole at a 30.93. Good job to him. But look at P2, P3, P4, and P5. As I don't know what's going on and just scroll up for no reason. But yeah, Hunting, my teammate, was second in an 000. Spank in third with a 001. I'm in fourth with a 002. And T-Mills in fifth with a 005. I mean 8, pardon me. So 2 through 5 was separated by 8 thousandths of a second. I want you to think about how close that actually is. It's immeasurable. Like, second through fifth, which matters at a track like this because I think Homestead is one of the toughest places to pass. It's separate. 4 spots on the track is separated by something that, by an interval of time, you cannot measure through the naked eye. That's just amazing, man. That shows the top flight competition we have, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch. So as we get ready to do the start of the race, I qualified 4th, as you can see. Now going in, as we get the restart here, everything is all hunky-dory. Being on the outside is particularly not my cup of tea, as we have a jumbled mess back from the third row on, and it would eventually lead to a huge collision, which only left. And I mean, you can see in the mirror there's only 7 people in the frame. That's because I think someone in 7th, or whoever started 7th, got into T-Mills, and the guy in 7th got loose, and it was on from there. I don't know. But yeah, we've got a 7-car breakaway, and that's pretty much it. As I've caught my way into 3rd place, just by momentum. And I was just going to watch what Hunting and Sharp do, because I'm going to be 100 with y'all. I'm not feeling that great about Homestead at the moment. Like, the last time I did Homestead was in this league, back in Season 2, which if you want to go to the playlist, hit Season 2, scroll all the way down. That was the championship race for that season. A championship race that I didn't get the Xfinity Championship. And it's also known around as the Teeth race, because that was the race that I infamously raced on with a bad mouth and bad teeth and medicine that made me pretty loopy and pretty delusional at times, to the point where me getting, I mean, I don't want to spoil it. If you want to go back and watch it, you can watch it. But the finish where I finished in that race was pretty fun. And even though I didn't get the championship that day, I mean, what the hell? Most of y'all probably have seen it. I got thrown in it. Thrown on a bad mouth and a bad head. So I'm just going to sit back and watch everyone. As we're 3-1 for the lead, and we have contact. All top 3 get spun. And then I just find the hole. And the C's have ported. And new leader, 37. As that is just a glorious day. As eventually, though, I am going to make my way down pit road. And I'm taking it really easy. Because I don't want to... Because I know if you go into this pit road at full speed, it could... I mean, your vehicle could brake to the right. And you would miss pit road. And that would be a death sentence. So... just being safe. I know the top 3 just crashed. I think Shaw in the 43 was only a second behind, which is not a death wish at all. Now, something I wish I could have known about was this access road. I made a mistake on my behalf. I didn't check my mirror. I could have gone up on the track and torn 1, but I went through the access course, and it probably lost me a little bit of time as Marcus Marcus almost just kills me, and Major for that matter, going into the pits, but we're both fine. As Major is loose as all heck as we get around Rebel, who's coming out of the pits. And that's weird because he shouldn't be up here because he was in that melee on lap 1. And then there's Sharp, who was a second behind. And due to the fact that me taking it easy on pit road and me using the access course probably got him the lead. And at this point it feels like nostalgia, even though we're racing pretty good. But it feels like nostalgia at this moment as we get really close in turn 3, but we're fine. We're all just fighting it. Like 3 prize fighters with 10 laps to go in stage 1. As they get side by side, but Major can't complete it. Tud's back in line. But no, the top 3 effectively, because the top 4 people hasn't pitted yet. But 5th, 6th, and 7th, it's like nostalgia as Major just goes loose, and he is destined for that inside wall. But as he gets loose again. But the top 3, this is like the Xfinity Championship all over again back in Season 2. If you want, like I said, if you want to watch it, hit playlist, go to Surfer Racing League Season 2, and it's on there. As I finally get around Mr. Loose and Major Spy, the points leader, 2-time race rental. But y'all know that already if you watch the videos. And I know someone who does. So, yeah, shout out to you, Major. But back to the business at hand. Me and Sharp has pulled away from Mr. Wrecking Ball and Rebel Kush. As we got 7 laps to go in this stage. We're still waiting on people to pit and whatnot. As I feel like the 2 of us are about equal at this point. But I have an advantage that he doesn't have, and it's the power of the draft. And who doesn't love a good little bit of drafting here at Homestead? As we're coming to 6 laps to go in this stage, I'm just buying time and waiting to get on them. As I get a good turn 1, and I'm slowly but surely closing the gap on them. As I get a little high that time. But I can use it to my advantage with this good run down the front straight as we got 5 laps to go. As Spank eventually pits. As I'm still just waiting for the perfect time as we get to a 10th, and now I'm on his back bumper, but can't do anything with him yet. But at least I'm there, as we got only 4 laps to go, and now everyone has pitted, and he washes up. I'm gonna try to go under, and we're side by side down the back straight at Homestead for the stage win, probably. But I have to get out of the gas for a little bit. And he gets the run down the turn, and I just have to file back in line. As the car just wouldn't stick to complete the pass. As I'm getting loose again. And that just kills the momentum. And he's just gonna drive away like a thief in the night. Then at this point, I think I'm just pushing it too hard. But luckily, he hits the wall as well. But I hit it at a worse angle than he does, as we've got 2 laps to go. And at this point, I'm just trying to reel him back in. 1 turn at a time. But at this point, it's as he gets a great turn 3. As we got 1 lap to go in stage 1 from Homestead. Unless he completely messes up, it's a GG. As I do get a good turn 1. But he also has a good turn 1. As I closed a 10th on him on that lap, but it's not going to be enough. And at that, he even gained a 10th. Now it's back to even, but it's not going to matter. As SHAREfactory 112 is going to win his first stage of the season and get his first playoff point of the season. Showing that he is, again, a championship contender. As he beats the defending champion, which is me. And that just feels good to say in stage uno. So we come down pit road, and you know, in about 20 seconds, we're going to have a big event happen in this race. Which throws a curveball for everyone. But, I'll let you see what happens. As you think everyone pitted, right? You would think that. As we have a black screen, but nope. Duck King, one of the last place calls on the lead lap, decides to be a champion and not pit. And look how bad this restart's going to get jumbled. Sorry for the spoiler. As I run into the back of him. And I cannot do a thing with this man. I'm pretty much on his bumper, which makes me all loose as heck. And then there I go. Taking out the teammate. And punting. Major in the door. And then Mr. Duck is going to run into short. As I get a good run through that turn. And all of a sudden I am right there for P2. Then the cool. That's the definition of evil loose. I mean, look at that fishtail, ladies and gentlemen. That is evil. Just plain evil and sick. I mean, that is just as we fishtail again. And I am just sick to my stomach at this point. I can't. This Kleenex Chevy is undrivable at this point. As I'm just holding on to my scheduled pit stop. Or at least I'm just trying to hold on to until my scheduled pit stop. I'm still 2.5 seconds behind the lead. I mean, that's them in that 7-car pad, but there I go again. Take out Hughes. I get loose again, and I have to call an audible. I'm back to 13th place. This is just ridiculous. 14th place. Just absolutely ridiculous. Getting passed by the slowest people. That's just ludicrous. And finally I've had enough with it, and I'm just gonna come down pit road, take the L, and move on with my life. Because if you can't tell in my voice, those laps were the most evil and most twisted and sick I've ever had driving at Homestead. As this time I have to use the access road because we have traffic. And it got to the point I literally couldn't drive it. So I'm 18th, 1 lap down. Because of course, because I just couldn't drive it anymore. And I did do alternative strategy by doing only a half a can. It will get me to the end, and it's gonna make up, or at least try to make up some of that lost time I had. Because, you know, sliding through the infield is gonna lose you about lost me about 6 or 7 seconds, which ain't fun. So I'm back to running good lap times again, as we have our first competitor in T-Mills, who was up there in that lead pack, and me being with him makes me feel pretty good about myself. And now I'm under set T-Mills, and even though everyone has to pit, this is for the lucky dog, just in case that if that caution ever comes out in the middle of a stage. Because, you know, NASCAR is wheeled right. So this would be for the lucky dog. As me and T-Mills all fighting like dogs. As he just pulls the beautiful crossover on me. As we got 9 laps to go in stage 2. So I kind of just cut T-Mills off a little bit, but I'm ahead of him now. As at this point I am not realizing, oh my goodness, is that, if you saw pit road, you saw that Luke and someone barely made it. But, as if right now we're just biding time. Now, right here, I should be thinking about saving tires because it's gonna come back to bite me on the butt. But in actuality, I'm thinking I want to pass as many people as I can. And I'm back into the top 10. What a miracle. As T-Mills finally just says, forget this. I'm passing this bum for 8th place. And he's just going to do the power move on the bottom. Got under me on the back straight. Then he's just going to finish me off in turn 3. Because, you know, logic. As I lose talent and hit the fence. 6 laps to go. Here in stage 2. I've gotten back into 8th. And theoretically, T-Mills would be the leader right now. Because of everyone who needs to pit. He's the first one. So that makes me feel better about myself. As we got 5 laps to go. As we have action on the track. And this made me feel really good because right there, that was the leader of the race before pit stops happened. And, you know, that's great until I just did that. Lost talent. And there goes that, I guess. As I just completely lost it. As then we have another problem. And as you can see, the right front is at 27%. And I think me and T-Mills is having the same problem. As we've only got 3 laps to go. And we're in 6th place, and I'm up to 6th place. Even though 3 people hasn't pitted yet. But you want to know how I said a couple minutes ago I should have been saving tires when I was fighting with T-Mills? I mean, this is coming back to bite me pretty good right now. Because you want to talk about slow. I feel slow. I mean, a $189 going into that turn. And I'm having to go all the way down to 153. Hitting the fence. Losing talent. The tire might blow. We've got 1 lap to go. Just kill me now. If you want to. Here comes Luke, who I passed 5 laps ago. And who was 3 seconds behind. Here he comes like a superhero. I'm back to 7th. And then the core just decides to say, screw you, pal. And there goes 7th. So a pretty crappy stage 2 gets me an 8th place finish. And that was just pitiful. Just straight pitiful. As at this point, I just decide I am not doing that again. By all stretch of the imagination. As 8th place, taking L's. And kids, don't do that setup. Or don't do what I did in stage 2. Because you're going to end up being 1 scrounge and telling people that you just need, I don't know, as Duck King decides to be a champion again and not pit. And I see what he's doing, but we're going to have a bottleneck as we got 25 laps to go. I'm restarting 9th, literally right in the middle of the scrum. So the game plan is to just protect and gain. As Luke hits the fence, loses talent. That's pretty helpful. As I'm into 7th, gain 2 spots right there. Then Duck King just decides to put Major into the beach. And then he hits T-Mills, and then T-Mills hits me. And I just have to power slide it down the beginning of the inside area on the front stretch, and we're all good. And we're back to 7th. But yeah, Duck King and Major took themselves out of the race. GG's. That's why we pit. So yeah, we got 7 people in this pack. 1 to 7. Of course. The leader of the race is Short Park in the 43. Like, figures. Well, actually, I apologize. Duck King is still up here in P5. On the old tiles. Doing duck-like things. I mean, he's just going to pound the wall. And he ain't going to hit me like he did to me at Martinsville. So he's going to just flounder back into obscurity. And it's now a 6-core pack. As Luke again hits the fence. I think he had a little bit of help right there, but he's going to flop back into duck territory. And as TG and Dunn make slight contact, but it's all good. I'm going to be underneath Dunn. For the 4th position, he's going to give me a nice little tap. And then he clips the apron because karma is real and not fake. And so, as I get, and you'll see, it's going to be a game of, do I kill TG's back bumper with the number 19 alias Toyota Camry? Round 1, the answer would be no. And I literally almost had a heart attack because I thought I was going to straight punt him into the trees, which would not be the move. Highly not recommend that. As me and TG has caught up to Hunty and Shorp, which are the top 2, as we got 19 to go. And I'm starting to run the fastest laps I've ran the entire race, which is perfect. Because this is when you want to be the fastest. And so we've pulled away from the others. And right now I'm just, like I have been, I'm just going to bide my time. If I pass him, I pass him, but I don't really want to be aggressive here, as I ran my fastest lap again at the first time breaking the 7s, the 29 7s here at, or the 30.7s here at Homestead. As TG is going to take a look under Hunty. And then they make contact and Hunty goes up into the fence. And then lost momentum is going to take me around TG. So my plan is working. I'm up to 2nd. As, I mean, TG, he barely touched Hunty. And I mean barely touched him. But even the slightest bit of contact can send someone into the wall. And when you get stuck to the wall, it's a GG. But it's like he didn't crash or anything. He just pounded the wall. He probably shouldn't have pounded it. But the game can be a real doofus sometimes when it comes to physics. So I think he went back to 5th place after that sequence, about a second and a half behind us. And so I'm gonna try to be passive again, as kind of like in stage 1. I want to recreate stage 1 where I'm behind short by a manageable margin, and then I can just ride him as Marcus. Oh. When I'm just trying to be passive, that almost happens. And that's now twice my life flashed by the number 14 Toyota Camry of Marcus. And so with that, the gap is now up to 8 tenths to Mr. Sharp. As TG is going to try to take a look under, because I don't think this is a long run. I'm not set up for the long run. I feel like this is perfect for the intermediate run, but the problem is intermediate runs are not really. I need a long run, not an intermediate. So we all come in together at the end. And I'm not going to touch a thing on this Kleenex Chevy Camaro, as maybe we'll get lucky and have a good pit stop, as we get blessed with a 14.9 second pit stop. And so the pit crew does their job. Am I going to beat Sharp? No. Well, am I? No. Oh, wait, maybe? No, I'm not going to beat him out in the end. As Luke Riley, who's like 2 seconds behind us, comes out ahead of all of us because, you know, 1 lap of fresher tires and a smooth pit stop can lead to so much goodness. And to throw an even bigger curveball in all this, you see that white and yellow number 12 calling the picture? Not the one coming off pit road, but the next, the one who's in the middle of 3 and 4. That yellow looking thing, that's the leader. That's done. He took 2 tires, and at this point, you have to question the mental IQ. I think he actually forgot to put it on 4 tires and not 2, but still, seriously, 2 tires. Out of all the tracks you could option to do 2 tires at and get away with it for a long period of time. Now notice how I said long period of time, because in stage 1 I did for a short period of time. Even though I came in on laps 5 or 6, it was only a 17 lap run. By the end of this, we're going to have a 25 lap run. That is death. And as you would figure, done is about as slow as Molasses, he's getting held up by two lappers. As Luke and Sharp and I are just coming like a freight train, he gets loose as all hell. As we got 8 laps to go. And it's only going to take us about 3 laps to gain about a half a turn. Luke is all aggressive. He's going to clear Mr. Dunn. Sharp's going to clear Mr. Dunn. And will I get a chance to clear him? He's going to go up. And that's a pass. We're on the podium. So, in a span of about 30 seconds, you've gone from 1st to 4th. And that's just that's a heartbreaker. He was running about 5th or 6th when pit stops began. Hopefully he can keep that, but we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Luke Riley, an Xfinity guy, and Sharp, a guy who's trying to get his season back on straight, and I, who is looking for a back-to-back after conquering the paperclip, are battling out for this win as we got 5 laps to go. They're side by side going into turn 1. Luke's going up towards the wall and he's going to get that run down the back. Sharp tries to cut off his momentum, but it's not going to work. They're going to remain side by side. Sharp's going to throw it in there like a lawn dart. And they get loose, and Luke gets loose and punches me. And that's pretty much going to give Sharp the victory. I mean, Sharp threw it into turn 3 like a lawn dart, and it stuck. And Luke was trying to do the crossover on him. And I think his number 1 McDonald's Chevy hit one of the seams in turn 3, and it made him loose, and I was right behind him and I had nowhere to go. I just got caught up in like a victim, but I didn't overreact. I just let off the gas and pretty much pushed him out of the way. Such tragedy. That's tragic. Tragic sort of events as Team Randy, which is me. It's me, Luke, Hunty, and Matt's Traction in the sit. So you've all seen in the past little bit. Oh, is not going to get this cup win as Sharp, who has been bit by the luck bug. Did I just say that? Yeah, I made that up, people. He has gotten bit by the luck bug in this league, crashing out at Daytona, crashing out at Atlanta, crashing out at Martinsville. He's got 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank, hashtag cheap plug, as we're down the bad stretch for a final time. He's looking to get over the bad luck he's had, as someone runs him up the track a little bit, but it's all good. As Sharp's coming off turn 4, he's going to win the Ford EcoBoost 400, his first win of the season. Congrats to him. And I'm going to come home with a 2nd place finish. And as you can see, me, Luke, and Hunty all get a top 5. As Dunn is going to fall back to P7. Showing you why 2 tires is not the move, but I think he actually did forget to set it on 4. So if you're watching this, I'm not bashing you in any way or form. I'm just stating the obvious. Don't take, if you're going to do a long green flag run to the finish, don't take 2 tires on your pit stop. You'll thank them later. So like I said, Sharp with the victory. I get 2nd. the Xfinity regular Luke Riley with a P3. And fighting for the win. A good showing for Mr. Luke. As the teeth track I look forward to, because of my past surgery, on the day of this track back in Season 2, like I've said 25 times, I got an average finish of 2.5. That's unbelievable to think about. Because like I've said, I really don't like this track. It really don't fit my style. The high slip banks. And I was just going to survive it. But I got a P2. I'll take it. As the next race is the Coca-Cola 600. Which is special to me because this is the race I won the championship at last season. So hopefully I can follow up on the success on that. This is it for now. Thank you all for watching the video. This is Dope Randy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm out, guys. Peace.